I am by nature a very insecure individual. And because of that, like oftentimes when I am talking to people or communicating with individuals, like my brain has to first go through this process of passing every word or thought through a filter. That filter is comprised of different questions. One is, what is this person going to think if I say this? Two is this going to make me look stupid? And three is, like, will I be able to live with myself after I say this, right? So, like, I've got this filter that I would pass every word and idea through before I would convey it to any sort of individual. And what drugs and alcohol did for me was remove that filter. And I no longer would second guess or overthink every word or comment or anything that I said. And instead, I would just be.
Yeah.
Right? Like I would just exist. I would just interact. I would just be present. I would just exist in this place where I was comfortable with everything. And I can remember feeling a different version of that with different drugs and alcohol. Like you said, it's kind of a different world depending on what it was. And then, for me, like the one that was most effective is the one that really started taking over. Opioids just became like, because everything else made it would soften that filter with those questions, right? But opioids would just completely remove it. And not only that, but oftentimes remove this notion that I needed to even have a conversation. And because like I just became just so okay that I can just fucking chill and I don't give a fuck what you think of me. Like I don't even need to have a conversation. And then eventually, I discovered that enough alcohol will do that too.
All right.
And that's when things just really, when I started using it and abusing it for that specifically for so long, when I started seeing a coping mechanism in it, is really when it began to ultimately just rule my life.
Yeah.
And then, I'm doing it even when it feels like it's not such a great idea. And I'm doing it, in instances where I know that, I'm going to end up being too fucked up in front of these people if I do it now or whatever. Like, and finding myself in all these situations where this is probably not the best time to do this. But I'm going to do it anyways because it's going to give me a certain degree of that relief.
Yeah.
And I'll deal with the fucking consequences later. Mm-hmm.